Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Uh, Normally I have a couple of theology blogs that I write on occasionally, like once or twice a month. So this is my first time actually doing a video. And I'm not following a script, and I don't plan on editing. And hopefully my cat Mo doesn't jump in here and contribute towards the video. uh, probably like 3 decades ago, I remember I had a little multi-track studio in my apartment back then, early 90s. And I was recording a song I had written titled The Fact. I still don't even have copyrights to the song. But I had a cat named Blackie. He jumped right across the keyboard during the recording, and I just left the thing on there because it sounded pretty good after all. It was just like, it's more like a chromatic scale type thing. I don't think he knew what he was doing, but it sounded pretty good. It was all over the keys. Anyhow, let's jump into what I wanted to discuss. Hopefully everyone will draw something from it, I usually don't think like in a linear way. I'm more of a all over the place thinker. And I wanted to title this The Logic of a Wall. And I'm sure a lot of people will probably assume, oh, this guy's a pro-Trump because it's gonna sound like I'm defending the purpose of a wall or the logic of a wall. But whatever you think, here it is. I suppose let's start using the idea of going through, when we fly, going through the line with TSA at the airport. Everybody hates the fact that we have to take off our shoes and we actually get scanned and all sorts of things, and all our luggage gets scanned, and make sure we're not carrying anything. Could be a bomb or something like that. Really, that's what they're looking for, and this all stems from 9/11, which was a tragic day. I always say I remember when I was a kid in Hoboken looking over the Hudson and seeing how long it took to build the World Trade Center, seeing the cranes and how in less than 2 hours both of those structures just came down. And so obviously airport security, border security, it's very important. And yeah, it's good to think maybe everyone is a good person deep down, but there are fundamentalist people that just don't, sometimes they think their way is better, and everybody, it's their way or the highway. Everyone else's ideas are not. So border security is definitely important. And now even let's go back to the airports. You go through a TSA line. Now here's something I guess you take for granted, or most people take for granted. You actually know when you're driving to that airport, normally there's a 8-foot fence or a wall surrounding that airport. Because if a vehicle goes through that fence, or there wasn't a fence there, there's FAA equipment and all kinds of things that a vehicle or even a person could damage, and that just makes the whole purpose of flying by today's terms basically very dangerous. So there's safety reasons, just that we have a fence. Most people have fences around the house. It's a barrier, not necessarily a wall, and they serve a purpose. Recently, in some of this dialogue about walls, and they had said this is like a what's the phrase someone used? This is like a medieval type thing. You know what? Those medieval walls served their purpose. They had a moat around it. You know, it deterred and it delayed the penetration by the enemy to take over our kingdom and just defeat it. And you don't know, I mean, the hostile intention was there by any enemy, whoever wanted to. Maybe the bad guy was the one that had you enclosed, but hey, that's up to debate, you know. Here's the thing. Now let's go back to the wall now and the border. A barrier, a wall, anything that you can have that increases border security, the more you spend, the better it's going to be. You go out and buy a $20 pair of shoes versus a $300 pair of shoes. Go try them on. Go to a shoe store and try them on and see the difference in comfort and quality. The more you spend, you're going to get a much better product usually. You know, I know there's a thing out there where people can mark up something and rip you off, but wall and or any kind of barrier, it's good. Here's the purpose too. Even if you just put 50-foot poles 50 feet apart for miles and put cameras on there or some kind of sensory equipment, which we have technology like that, and on a wall you can put some kind of technology where you can detect, hey, this is where the penetration was, this is where, and you can, if you had helicopters or any kind of vehicles where the people can get out there quicker. Of course, you're going to have to spend money on that kind of thing. But when you have nothing at all, a person can just go right through. Now, even cameras. I know here's where some people that probably have no knowledge would say, "Oh, by that camera, anybody can come down and destroy it. You know, shoot at it or something and knock it down." No. There's casings and that's like armored casing that protects you can, that technology is not going to be easily knocked off or damaged, but also it can be wireless. There is such a thing as wireless technology that is solar powered, where you don't really need this wiring. Of course, if we would have listened to Tesla 120 years ago, we probably would have wireless electricity right now and wouldn't need any of that anyways. And thank God for him, because we have a lot of wireless technology because of him. But there is such a thing in use already where you can have, you know, solar powered wireless technology on there or anything sensory equipment, but people that manufacture this don't give it away for free. It's going to cost. So, hey, we can have borders wide open and be anarchists and believe that we don't need border security, but most of our politicians have voted for packages, or many of our politicians, have voted for packages that are more than 5.7 billion in border security. And I think the wall, the real reason why it's probably not being sold very well is because you say it's a wall. You know, oh, let's elaborate. Not just a wall. You can, from a wall, you can put sensors, you can put all kinds of technology that you can't have if you just don't have anything there. You know, so I really don't understand this whole thing about not wanting a wall, that it serves no purpose, because there's no basis or no truth in that. And or else we might as well get rid of TSA, get rid of our fences around our airports, get rid of our walls around the house, leave the doors open, don't, you know, locks on our doors, just get rid of them. We don't need locks anymore. Hey, let anybody come in. You know, what the heck? You know, we don't need anything like that. So, maybe there's a justification for it, but I think it's just a politicization. And, yeah, that happens because political parties, they don't like to be the underdog, or they don't like to be the one that's not running the country. Their president is running the country instead of being the second in power of the other party. You know, they want to be the one. So obviously, you don't want the guy that's president to be successful if you're the opposing party, and vice versa. I'm sure the opposing party would be doing the same thing if it was if the tables were turned, and that's just the way it is. And it's been like this in our country since probably day one, and that's why we have debate, and that's why we have for communication, dialogue. You know, although sometimes it seems like it's a monologue when no one is listening. You know, nobody, or being able to respond. I mean, so hey, this is just my first video about, I suppose, border security, and I'm calling this the logic behind a wall, and I'm just ad-libbing this. I'm not following a script, as I said earlier, and I don't know, it's just me thinking or brainstorming about it, but hey, that's what makes sense to me. I'm sure if you can come up with better ideas on it, hey, feel free to share them just as I am, okay? Anyhow, have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for listening to my rant or monologue. Bye-bye.